What's good, y'all? So I gotta break down this new Madden 27 um, content. I know we got a while until the game actually drops and things like that, but we have to take a look at some of this stuff. This stuff is lethal. I'm talking about this is wild. Make it a little bit bigger. So first thing first, if you're a defensive player inside this Madden, it's gonna be like this is gonna be like your year. If you're a defensive guru, you love schemes, you love coverages, things like that. Like this is gonna be your year in regards to just the whole entire aspect. Like it sounds like they're really putting a huge emphasis on defense this year around. They haven't been like that, but I feel like it's gonna balance things out huge in a huge way, which is good. So if you're creative, like kind of exotic and things like that on defense, it's going to be huge. One of the biggest thing they're talking about is smarter coverage. And what that kind of looks like from what I've been looking at is kind of like the AI intelligence, which is going to be some different things we're going to talk about in the video, like coverages and things like that. So when we're talking about, let's say, like defense alignment, right? Defense alignment and control. So of course you can adjust like outside, inside, things like that. But what's just going to be the key thing is this: you get to do it pre-snap. So like before you even get on, the play, you can have like your base defense. So that's the kind of technique I feel like what I'm going to use this year is having your base defense out there, but then also having in some little exotic things like that for defense. Like I might have one defense where I have my cornerbacks depth far back. I might have some of it when it's pressed, depending on it is. I might have, depending on what's going on, maybe towards the inside leverage and outside leverage. This year is going to be huge in regards to taking away inside and outside. When I was looking at some of the videos and things like that, I know it's not a lot of content out. Not everybody has access to that, and that's okay for Madden 27. But when we're looking at the new videos and things like that, these guys really commit and take away when they're playing inside, things like that. Like they made a huge emphasis on that. So it's gonna be super important that we're utilizing different leverage and things like that on certain areas on the field in order to play really good defense. Safety depth, things like that stuff's going to be there. But the key thing is going to be pre-snap, right? I can set up all my schemes and things like that if I want people up, if I want people far back, if I want everybody like at like a level playing field, 15 yards back and playing like a certain zone. You can do that and set up your blitz schemes and coverages and things like that before you even get on the field, which is going to be huge for this year's Madden. So smart zones are going to be something that's going to be a big deal when it comes to smart zones, right? And again, we can set this stuff up pre Madden, so it's going to be huge. So we're talking about a couple different things, right? You got aggressive zone defenders going to be prioritizing shorter routes when threatened, things like that, like basically taking away quick game, balance, kind of regular, conservative, things like that. Middle going to be smart about it, and then you got the conservative when they're focusing on taking away the middle range to deep ball routes and things like that. So if you're someone who wants to play attack aggressive, so like if you're a blitzer, you want to play a little aggressive zone, you want to get down there and get, attack type of style defense, then you might want to go that style. If you're someone who wants to maybe take a step back, things like that, depending on what you're seeing on the scheme wise, you kind of have to read and kind of see what's going on. So it's going to the defense can pretty much line up to any kind of way that you like to kind of play football, right? It can line up to any kind of way you like to play football. And then you have even ultra aggressive, right? Ultra aggressive, like we're jumping on zones super high. And again, this stuff can be put in pre-play. So if I have a scheme and things like that that's set up, I can have all this set up like a blitz or something like that. My smart zones, I can have that all set up before I even hop on the football field. And certain formations and schemes and things like that, super key. So again, base package, think about your base defense that you have in, and then think about your quick kind of go-to defenses that you want to utilize to stop opponents. And that's something you're going to want to practice, definitely in practice mode and get everything's lined up. Key thing as well is to look for work. I think this is going to be huge right here. Looking for work, being able to kind of, when no one's there, backing up, playing some coverage, things like that. So on offense, that lets you know, when you know this stuff, on offense, it gives you an idea that you're going to definitely need to be able to, basically be playing honest football underneath over routes, right? High low, you got to have high low routes, otherwise it's going to be, these guys are going to find work and kind of pick you off. So it's a key thing to understand defense, but then if you don't understand defense, you're also going to understand offense as well. Plaster is a new thing that they're adding in, right? It's like when plays get extended, the defender can attach nearby receivers instead of staying locked into an empty space. So if it's like a scrambling quarterbacks, you can like adjust your defense to attack the scrambler and peel off. That's going to be huge as well. I heard the red zone improve. We'll see how that gets in a little bit. And then I think a huge thing too is going to be focus. What that's going to look like really is going to be pretty much like them focusing, your defense is going to be focusing on one player to shut that player down, whether that's zone or man or things like that. So it's key to kind of pay attention to that. Plaster Logic, let's kind of dive into this a little bit, right? So we're talking about like Plaster Logic. It's breaking down when the quarterback leaves the pocket, if anything. So it's like basically like if the player is like running around, like what's going to happen when he leaves. So I think these names are going to be huge to understand. So we're talking about Plaster Logic. You have a couple different things. You're going to have off. That means the defender's going to stay in their assigned zone and they're not going to lock into a receiver, right? Conservative would be like backside zones, so defenders can abandon their zone attached to the nearest receiver. And when the quarterback leaves the pocket or that timer hits, that means they can kind of go and impact the quarterback without like abandon the structure. Basically, they're kind of playing smart. If no one's in their zone, they're going to go after and get after the quarterback. Aggressive is going to be all defenders, like all defenders can lock onto the nearest receiver once Plaster triggers. This gives maximum man coverage as the play extends, but it also means you're getting up zone underneath. So pretty much if you're playing like aggressive, and I actually like the idea of aggressive because I'm like someone that likes to use a spy, that means that the defenders are going to continue to kind of pick up, find work and things like that. You can do conservative in regards to people just staying in their zones. But I think aggressive is going to cause a lot more issues, especially if you have like a spy and things like that in the area. So I might go ahead and roll with that. I kind of like that a little bit more. You can also do different things, like let's say like outside the pocket, time, Plaster triggers when quarterback leaves and the timer has expired. This is kind of the safest option. Also, as soon as the quarterback leaves the pocket, and then Plaster set amount of time the player has inside the quarterback has in the pocket. So these are all things you can kind of switch around and things like that, like pre-play. So you can kind of like pick what makes sense. I like the aggressive. I'm going to roll with the aggressive. That's just me. Like when that quarterback gets out of the pocket, like I don't want you to think you can just run around. So that's just me. I'm going to play that type of style. I'm an aggressive guy on defense. I'm going to get after the quarterback, play good run defense. So it's going to be a huge thing for Madden this year. So again, aggressive, Plaster kicks in earlier. Balance, Plaster kind of timing, taking their time. Conservative, they stay in zone before locking on. So super key that we're able to kind of recognize that and things like that. Again, there's a ton of different things, and we'll go ahead and start kind of breaking it down. I think we'll talk about roll coverage, and we'll talk about some of this other stuff in the next video and things like that. But this is kind of a good idea, kind of where we're at. So Plaster Logic, smart zones, defense alignment and things like that, and then smart coverage. Defense is going to be huge this year. It's going to be something special. If you're a defensive guy, if you can play base defense, stop the run, and then have some schemes in place in regards to some really good schemed up nano blitzes and things like that that can get after the quarterback and they're locked down, you're going to find yourself in a really good spot. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe. I know it's been a while, but I'm back.